This card trick is an absolute miracle. Just imagine it. A spectator picks up a packet of cards from the top of the deck. He counts how many cards there are, tells no one, and then remembers the card at that position in the deck. Again, telling no one. Then the deck is put back together, shuffled, and the spectator can name any number and the card appears at that position. I mean, how is that even possible? What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. If you're joining me here for the first time, hey there, my name is Vinny, and I go by CardMechanic here on YouTube. The card trick that I just described to you seems too good to be true, but is it? The spectator will select a card in the most fair and random way, and you will know the exact location of the card with this one simple principle. So before we get started, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, grab your favorite deck of playing cards, and now, let's do it. Alright, y'all, so check this out. For those of you who are curious, today I decided to go with the classic Casino Bees playing cards. It's been a while since I've handled these on this channel. We'll start off by giving the deck a bit of a shuffle, maybe a bit more, something like this time, a few cuts like this, one final cut, and I think we're good to go. So I'm going to have a spectator go ahead and pick up any number of cards from the top of the deck. And for me, being the performer, I'm going to go like, close my eyes, hide in the corner or something. They're going to pick up some number of cards. I have no idea what it is. I tell them usually to keep it small, like a small packet of playing cards, and they're going to count how many cards are in this packet. Now, as a performer, generally I would not know, but since I'm the only one here, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 cards in this pile. They're going to keep this to themselves, make sure that I don't know what, how many cards are there. Now, once they've done this, I'm going to ask them to go ahead and take a look at the top card of the pile and put it down on the table, and keep on doing that until they get to their 12th card, or the card at that numerical position of the cards that they had in their original cut pile. So if they had cut 4 cards, they would look at the 4th card here. In this case, they've cut 12 cards, they'd be looking at the 12th card here. So they're going to keep on going ahead and looking at the cards. Again, my eyes are still closed, or I'm in that corner. But they're going to go up to the 12th card. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're going to remember this 12th card. And once I've done that, I'm going to ask them to go a few more cards. This way I don't know where that card is. So we're going to keep on going until they feel like stopping. Let's say they want to stop right here. So now we'll take these cards, put them on top of this deck, put these on top, and then they can hand me the deck and I'll go ahead and give it a quick shuffle. Now, theoretically, there is no possible way where how I know what that card is. It's literally impossible. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start dealing cards face up, okay? And whenever the spectator feels like telling me to stop, that's where we're gonna stop, right? So I'm gonna do a card face up. Okay, let's just say the spectator wants me to stop here. At this point, I'm gonna ask the spectator now to name any number that they want. So they've stopped me at a random place. I have no idea where the card is in the deck. Hopefully it wasn't here, because if it was here, the trick is already ruined. But let's just say the card's not there. And now I'm gonna ask them to name any number that they want. Let's just say they name the number, 4. So check this out. We're gonna deal off 4 cards, and the spectator's card will be in that position. Check this out. You ready for this? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there we have the king of clubs. My pad don't wobble wobble, it's straight. I feel like the selection method used in this trick could quickly become one of my favorites, if not like my go-to. But just to give you some background on this effect, it's from the Royal Road to Card Magic, and it's known as... what's it known as? Mount Bank Miracle. And for the most part, I would say the selection process of this trick is mainly what's described in the Royal Road to Card Magic. And I decided to come up with my own ending and own version of it. I've also seen Paul Wilson's performance of this effect, and I thought that was pretty nice too. So I'll talk about some different ways you can take the ending of this trick to kind of customize it, make it your own. But of course, I'll talk mainly about the performance that I did, and then we'll go into a couple of variations. So that being said, let's go ahead and break it down. Starting off, as always, I'd recommend handing the deck over to a spectator and allowing them to shuffle it up, just to kind of build some trust with them, because if they don't trust you, they're gonna hate you, all right? So go ahead, have them shuffle up the deck, and then you take it back. Place the deck on the table and ask them to pick up a small packet of cards. I'd say somewhere between like 5 and 15 would be like the sweet spot. Anything more or less would kind of become a bit tedious in terms of putting cards down, doing all the counting. It's a lot of extra effort. So small packet of cards, let's say they picked up this many. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they picked up 10 playing cards. And of course, you can either close your eyes or go hide in a corner, like I said, and have them count how many cards are in their pile, and make sure you have them hide it from you, so they can, you know, put it underneath the table, they can put it in the tuck box or whatever they want to do, but they hide that from you. And then you tell them, given the number of cards in this packet, 10, you're going to keep on going ahead and dealing cards, looking at the card, right? So you give them the deck, tell them to look at the card, put it face down on the table. And what the whole purpose behind this is, you're reversing the order of the top X number of cards. So you look at the top card, put it down on the table. Look at the next card, put it down on the table. You instruct the spectator to do this. And keep on doing that until they get to their 10th card, or the card that equals the number of cards in their packet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They look at the 10th card and memorize it, because that's going to be their card, the Queen of Diamonds, and tell them to go a couple more cards, just so just to throw you off as a performer. So it's 10, 11, 12. Let's just say they go to 12, and that's it. So now you come back, and one thing you have to be sure of, actually, when you're doing this, you have to know how many cards they're dealing in this pile, okay? So whether you're there watching them deal, or you have your eyes closed and you're just listening for how many cards they're dealing, you have to know how many cards are dealt to in this pile. So being the performer, there are many different ways to do that. I'd recommend, if you're just starting off, just take a look at them dealing the cards, taking a look, putting them down, taking a look, putting them down, so you can count how many are there. Just don't draw too much attention to yourself counting the number of cards. So we have 12 cards here. You're going to take this, put it back on top of the deck, tell them to take the cards that they had, put those on top as well. Now, because of how math and the principle of this trick works, the card will be at the location you counted plus 1. So we counted 12 cards, right? They dealt 12 cards out. If you look at the 13th position, that's where we find the Queen of Diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And you can see there's the Queen of Diamonds. A beautiful way to select a playing card, make it look completely random. It's free. It's insane. I love it so much. But anyway, now that you know that it's in the 13th position, what I like to do is, once the cards are put back together, I give the deck a false overhand shuffle. And I throw a packet of cards, making sure that it's more than the number of cards that are dealt to, or more than the card what am I saying? It should be more than your remembered number. So for me, it'd be more than 13. So I throw over a chunk of playing cards, make sure this is more than 13, do a false overhand shuffle, and I have a video on that. You can go ahead and check it out. And I do that shuffle to maintain that card there, but to the spectator, it makes it look like the card is lost somewhere in the deck. Now, in my performance, I like to do the second deal to get to the spectator's card, and I like to kind of do a bit of a build-up. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to be dealing off 12 cards, right? So I'm going to tell the spectator, I'm going to just keep on dealing until I feel like stopping. Or I can tell them to select any number that they want. Okay, and this is really where you have so much freedom on how you want to perform this trick. So let's say they select the number, I don't know, you tell them to select any number between 1 and 52. Let's say they selected the number 20. So you can literally go and start dealing, and I like to deal the cards face up just to show the spectator. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now that I got to the 12th card, I'm going to start doing the second deal, because the second I turn on the 13th card, it's game over, and they selected the number 20. So I have a full video on the second deal if you want to, learn how to do that. But what I'm pretty much doing is I'm pushing over 2 cards on top right here and making it look like 1. It's much easier to do with a borderless deck, and I'm not gonna lie, that's partly the reason why I used a borderless deck for this performance, but you can do it with any deck. Let me bring this one up. All right, so same thing here, right? You can push off 2 cards as 1. It's a bit more noticeable just because of the borders, but still, if no one's looking for it, they definitely will not see it. And you can literally pretend to deal the second card as long as you want. That's just how life works. So that's exactly what you're going to be doing. We got to 12, except here I'm dealing the card face up. And again, I have a full tutorial on the second deal if you want to learn how to do that. Push off 2 cards as 1. I'm turning it face up now. There'll be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And for the 20th card, I take it. And boom, there it is. Card number 20. Their selected card. Wow. the Queen of Diamonds. There's so many variations that you can do for this effect once you know the location of the spectator's card. The simplest thing, honestly, you can do is you can have the spectator place their hand over the deck and have them get a feel for the location of their card. And then you can be like, okay, let me hold the deck, let me hold your hand, and let's figure out where this card is. And you could do kind of like almost like a mentalism or psychic type effect, and then you find out the location of the spectator's card in the deck. But so what Paul Wilson did in his variation was something that I never expected, but it made sense once I saw it. So again, our card's in the 13th position. So he started dealing the card face up with one hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He dealt 12 cards. He took a break and asked the spectator, oh, did you see your card here? And as he was doing this, he palmed that card. Right, so as he palmed the card, and by the way, if you want to learn how to palm, real quick tutorial. I'm not the greatest at palming, by the way, but real quick tutorial, I come over here with my pinky, slide forward a little bit, push down, so the back of the card kind of pops up into my palm, and then I grab the card like this, and there's the card palmed. It's hard for people with smaller hands, and I learned magic at a young age, so I never learned how to palm correctly, but that's something you can do if you choose. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and he went through the entire deck like this, all right? Now, to save you some time, just gonna throw the cards over, and he asks the spectator, oh, did you see your card? They're gonna say no, and he decides to reach into his jacket pocket. As you can see, I'm not wearing a jacket. Reach into his jacket pocket, pulled out one card, and there it was, the Queen of Diamonds. So there are many different ways that you can go with this effect, and I'm gonna leave that completely up to you. Any ideas you have, please share them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear them. Now go out and fool your friends with this, because trust me, you will fool them. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to help support what I do, go ahead and check out my Patreon. It'll help me create better content and provide you with as much value as possible. Have a great day ahead. Love you guys, and I'll see you really soon. Deck drop.